Hey, this is Toby. Welcome back to another video. So in this video, we finish our time range EA with pending orders. I will link the first part up here so you can go watch it. And yeah, in the end of the video, we will also do some backtesting. You will see all the settings. So let's go. Now, before we start coding, remember there is a 15% discount on my programming courses for a few more days. So if you are interested in learning MQL5, check out my website. The discount code is below the video. Okay, so let's go to the visual editor here. You can also use the default meta editor to code this EA. I will use Visual Studio Code. Okay, so this is our time range EA pending file. And let's go through the code. So we want to change the objects so we can see the ranges of the previous days on the chart. Because right now, if we take a look at this visual test here, we can see the trades, but we cannot see the range. So that's what we want to change before we do some backtesting. So here, let's take a look at the onInit. We can delete this draw object function call here. And yeah, maybe we hit also compile here just to make sure we have a working file. And on dnit is fine. On tick, here we need to change this draw object to update objects like this. And we also do this here for the new low if statement, update objects. And we will create this function in a few seconds. Close the positions, that's fine. Calculate range. And yeah, everything else is fine. We check the inputs, calculate the range, draw the objects here. Let's go down. And before the draw object function, here, draw objects, we create a new function called update object. So let's write a comment here. Update chart objects and yeah, of type void. The name is update objects, no parameters. And here we just want to update the high and the low of the range. Okay, so first of all, we want to create a string variable here called name, and we set this to range high. And now we add the start time to this object name because we need to have different object names for each range, for each day basically. And the easiest way to do this is using the start time of the range. So we can just convert this to a string here and do range dot start time like this. So now we have a unique name for each range, for each day basically. And now we want to update the range high object. So we can use object set double. And here we need to specify the chart ID, which is null, the string name. So this is our name now. And the property ID. So this is a trend line. So we have two price coordinates. So we need to specify which one we want to modify first. And we do this with 0 for the first one. And now the value is our new range dot high here. And yeah, we also need to update the second price coordinate. So 1 here, also range high. And if you remember from one of the last videos where we coded this EA, we have two trend lines for the high and the low. One is a solid line. The other one is a dotted line basically. So we also need to do this for the dotted line. I will just copy this, paste it here. Name here, we add a space. So plus and a space after the name. Like this. And also 0, 1. And that's it for the high. Let's also do the low. I will copy this, paste it here, change this to range low. We still use the start time. And here, of course, low. And low. Okay, that's all we need to do in this function. Let's hit compile here. We have a few warnings and error messages. So let's see. Yeah, we need to specify, we are missing a parameter here in the object set double function. So here after the name, we need to specify the property ID. So this is object property, I think it's just price. We want to update the price coordinate. So let's add this for each line here after the name, like this. Okay, so the name, property price, the level value basically, and the value. Let's compile again. One mistake left, name here. Of course, we cannot declare it again, but we can use the same variable here for the low. So just delete string variable type here, and let's compile again. Make sure you don't have any mistakes. And now in the draw objects function, we also need to edit a few things. So here, first of all, we want to delete this line here where we delete the object. And we also want to delete the if statements here. So this here and the bracket here, shift this to the left. And before we create the object, we now want to set the name to a string variable name. And here again, we use the range start time to create a unique name for each day. So here we just add maybe some space and plus, cast this to a string, and we use our structure range.start time like this. And now we use this variable here, of course, instead of this string here. So we replace all these strings with our new name. And I think everything else is the same here for the start time. And we do the same for the end time. So we delete this line here. We delete the if statement. Move this to the left, delete the bracket. And we create a unique name. Here, of course, we don't have to declare the variable again with the string type. Just use it, name and range end. And now we replace all the strings here with our name. Like this. Okay. The same for the close time. We delete this. And the if statement, also the bracket. We move this to the left and create a unique name. So close time, and we use the name to create the object. Name. There's probably a way to multi-edit here, but I don't know that yet. So we use the name for the close time. Now for the high, we also delete this line here. And we delete the if statement and the bracket. Move this to the left, like this. And we create a unique name. So it's basically the same step for every object. Range high. Okay, and let's copy this. Paste it here. Like this. And we have a second object for the range high, which is the dotted line here. And here we just also use the name, but we add a space in the end. So we have a different name basically. That's very important. Otherwise you won't see the dotted line or the solid line. Okay, like this. We do the same for the low, and then that's it. We delete this. We move this to the left. We delete the bracket. We create a unique name. So range low. We add the start time, and then we use this to create the object and modify it. It's a little bit annoying to do this multiple times, but yeah. And here again, we add some space. So plus just a normal space. And we use this for the dotted line. This, like this, like this. Okay. So that's our new draw objects function now. We have unique names for each object. And yeah, let's hit compile. Make sure you don't have any mistakes. I will also compile using the script. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's go to the MetaTrader 5 tester so we can see if our objects are drawn correctly. For the inputs, I will just use the default inputs. And every tick here on US dollar, Japanese yen, 5 minutes. And we do a visual test to see if our code is working. So let's wait a few seconds. Okay. Yeah, this is the first range. Now we should see a range on each day. It will take some time to load the other symbols to convert the profits into the account currencies. But yeah, we can see a range now for each day, and it's just more convenient to go back in time and to check if the EA works correctly. Okay, nice. Let's also test some other inputs. Maybe we want to turn off the stop loss here and also no take profit just to test. And we also want to do a range only on Monday and maybe Wednesday and Friday. So I will set Tuesday and Thursday to false. Okay, let's start. Now the EA should calculate the range and also respect the day of week filter. So it should shift the range immediately to the next day. Let's see if we can spot this. Okay. So here's a range. You can see here's a day without a range. And now after this close, let's see, the next range is, yeah, it's shifted not to the next day, but maybe that's Monday or Tuesday, I don't know, but it works correctly. Okay, now let's also test lots based on money. So we want to risk maybe 1K on each trade. So for this, we need a stop loss. If we start it like this, I think we get an error message. Yeah. Here, lot mode needs a stop loss because we need to calculate, of course, the lot size from the stop loss distance. So we set the stop loss to just 150%. Now, before I start this test, I want to change the time period here to a more recent date, because in the MetaTrader 5 tester, you have to keep in mind that the tick value is fixed for the entire test period. So let's change this to a more recent date so we get a more accurate number for the 1K per trade. So let's start this test. And yeah, I'll take a look at the history here, and we can see if we hit the stop loss, it's around 1K. Okay, now in the end of the video here, as promised, I will also show you the settings for a good equity graph. So lots based on money, we can say 1K per trade. Stop loss, 120%. No trading stop loss, no take profit. Start time is 90. and the range duration 270 minutes. We close all the trades at 1200, and we don't filter for any weekdays. So everything here to true, like this. Okay, now let's go to the settings tab. I want to run this test with tick data, so it's very accurate. So we select the EA, of course. This is my symbol, US dollar, Japanese yen. This is Dukai's copy, tick data, 5 minute. The period, we start in 2020 for this test to today. And yeah, we also want to, or I want to use a delay of 20 milliseconds. And here every tick based on real ticks. I also have the commission set here for my custom symbols, of course. That's also very important. Yeah, I also have a video on how to do this, on how to create your own custom symbols, how to test on custom symbols. I will link it up here. So here, this is fine. Leverage is also fine. And yeah, we don't need the visual mode. We have the settings, and let's start this test. Now this will take a few seconds to load and synchronize all the tick data, as you can see here in the journal. And I will just cut this once the test starts. Okay, so now the test is running. I will just let this run here, starting in 2020 up to today. So this is already a pretty good equity graph with just a few inputs. You don't want to optimize too much. So we just have the range start and duration here, and we close the trades in the evening. We don't even filter for weekdays. That's also something you can look into and probably improve the performance if you avoid trading a few days of the week here. And you can also play around with different stop loss and take profit values, and also try, of course, the trading stop loss. So let's take a look at the graph again. Yeah, it's pretty a straight line. And this is basically the same. These are the same inputs we used in one of the previous videos where we coded the trading stop loss for this EA. And since then, this is basically out of sample, I think, from here. So all that stuff after this point here is out of sample. And we can see even out of sample data, with new data, the strategy makes new equity highs. So that's pretty good. You can use this EA now on your own, get yourself a VPS. I also made a video about this, how you can install a VPS. That's very important if you want to do algo trading. Get yourself a VPS, use that EA if you want to, and of course always on your own risk. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, leave a like, write a comment, ask me anything in the comments about automated trading, about this EA. And yeah, I will see you in one of the next videos. Have a great week and good trades. Bye bye.